This is, again, the girls here, and this is a round robin. So Point and Marshfield are in the same foursome with Kimberly and Medford. And this is their second game. So it's a big one.
Yeah. And I mean, there on that shot right there, I would have probably had a little bit more sweepage. Would want to hit that one stone that's, I think that was the number 1 or 2. I can't read it from here, but I would have rather had it split a bit. So nice fork in the middle.
Okay. Now we go back to the first release for Marshfield from Morgan Wyszynski. I'm assuming it's his sister, the freshman. Doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
But it's in the family. That's curling is a lot of family involvement.
I know my dad curls here.
Okay.
So, but with the sweepers, really would help if they would more focus on the width of the sweeping. But just when they sweep like that, they're getting that stone jammed right there. You can see, and they just push the red right into the yellow stone. So that sweeping isn't going to really help them at all.
Well, now you can tie between releases here, there's some time you can talk about some of the things. How about the scoring aspect of this sport?
Yeah, so scoring-wise, it's just whoever has the closest stone to the house or the button wins, or gets a point, I should say. And if you have 2 stones that are right next to that middle, then you get 2 points. And if you have all 8 of your stones in the red, the white, and the blue, but they have 1 stone right on the button, they get 1 point.
Okay, so it doesn't matter how many. It's their location.
It is.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. And we're going to look at the scoreboard eventually, and then you can explain that one, because most of us, including me, when I first got involved with this curling thing, a little confused.
I can agree with that one.
Yeah, it takes a while. Now it's okay. That's what it is. Now, what we do for the folks that are watching and listening, we put that score on that we have right there, so they just, it's 3-1.
Right.
Makes it a lot easier. And I think it's just as meaningful. We can thank the Scots for the other version.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the second release now coming up for Stevens Point.
And this right here is actually some of my favorite moments in curling, is when the skip and the skip and other teams or other players on the team just don't agree. I know today in some of our games, me and my skip were just like, no, I want this shot, no, I want that shot. And that's really what it comes down to in curling, is that perspective. And so, this girl right here, she will see a different shot than the other girl. And I think that's the really cool part about curling, is that different perspectives that you get.
Well, to me, curling is the ultimate sport for high school age, because the coach is behind the glass. Not walking the sideline and, and the coach gets a timeout, the players get a timeout, the coaches has to be between ends, and if they go an extra end or whatever, they get one more. But this is our 4th game today, and all 3 prior games have been competitive.
Yeah.
Down to the last 2, the girls and the boys, both of those came down to the last rock.
Wow.
And so that's when it really becomes exciting. Somebody has to win, somebody has to lose, but they have that opportunity down to the last rock, and sometimes do they take advantage of opportunities?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, speaking of just the different aspect of curling, I really like curling a lot. I played hockey for 11 years, and I can tell you right now the difference between these sports is just astronomical. You have one side where the coach is just screaming obscenities at you, and then you have curling, which it's not really like that.
Yeah. ladies or gentlemen's sport more. Families involved. I think this facility, of course, is one of the better ones in North America.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know of any that are more than 8 sheets wide, and we'll have shots of that as we go along here. And we'll also see behind the glass the bleachers. And the Schaefer family in Wausau curling has been around. There's a combination of 4 of them, 3 generations that volunteered, and they're all volunteers. The sweepers, the icers, the whatever. They put in 90 combined years.
Wow, really?
For this curling club, which started at Marathon Park. It wasn't much of. That's why this is up here. And then you go in the building and you see all the names on the floor of contributors.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
It really is.
And they're from all over. I mean, today I noticed there's one from the Eau Claire Curling Club that contributed.
Oh wow!
So they wanted. It's almost like they needed something like this for the state.
Yeah.
And the state, not just the state high school, but the juniors, the seniors, the men's, all of them.
And the best part about it is that it's in the middle of the state.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's perfect for everyone who's that far away distance just to come in and get close.
Yeah, it's well thought out. Well, this is the first stone for Spash. Stevens Point area senior high, Spash. The first stone for Astrid Presley. Or is it the third? We'll have to wait and see. Checking on the board as we take a look at things.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult because I think yellow's sitting right now, but it's going to be difficult for red to get in there and move some stuff. But I do see a very difficult shot that they could do, that raise take, but that's probably like a last resort option.
Ava Olds is their third, and that's the last shot. She's a vice skip. Yeah. And that name is familiar to me from doing these state tournaments for a few years now. So that's a curling family in Stevens Point. Now coming in the discussion now is the second toss for Esme DeJars.
From what I've seen her last shot, I think that she's going to do a magnificent job with her next shot. It just comes down to whether she's narrow or wide. Her weight is pretty good from what I've seen before the game, or the ends before, and her weight's been good so far, but it's just getting that narrow or an on-line. When I mean on-line, I mean when the skip holds the broom and you kind of get into that hack, you have to line yourself up with it and then just glide right out to it. Like there's a straight line there. And with her shot, you can kind of see that it goes a little narrow sometimes, and it kind of misses that line.
One thing I've noticed with her release is before the hog leg.
It is.
She has room to hold on for, a split second longer.
Yeah, and
that's heavy.
Yeah. I would have probably gone a little control weight there. Control weight is obviously a much slower takeout. So can kind of glide in and curl a bit more. But otherwise, the other shot I would have seen is just set something up on that white-ish that you could bounce off of, set something up there. But other than that, it's just a very difficult situation to be in when you have those two stones that are right next to each other on the button.
Well, this is the first time today, and this is game 4 for me, that I've seen 2 stones in the button.
Really?
Touching the button. Yeah, really, seriously.
Yeah.
It's been rare. It's been rare. I know the first girls' game I did, I believe, I don't think there was one that was in the button in count the whole game that I remember. So they're starting out already a little bit, like you said, more location than takeout.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. More draw.
And the crazy aspect that I see about curling is how different the boys and the girls teams are. Because in our games today that we played, we at one point had like 3 stones sitting on the button. You would have loved it.
Wow.
Okay, but it just came down to a really nice takeout that just took it all out. And I think that that's the main thing that you're going to start to see more and more of in these girl sports is these more drastic takeout games.
Well, as they gain experience and confidence, the strategy does change. There are 16 teams girls, 16 teams boys, and then they after the round robin, then they have their semis and final.
Right.
And we'll have one of those. We choose as we go along pretty much which teams to cover on Wausau Area Access Media. We try to get the area here, but Stevens Point and Marshfield are as close as we can come outside of that area. We did have Medford involved in a game earlier.
So was that against West?
I'd have to go back and look. I really would. I'm serious.
I mean, either be West or East.
It was East.
It was East. Okay.
Yeah, the first East team. Yeah. So we try, and then when you get to the semis and to the finals, your numbers are down to choose from, and you really don't have as many choices. So it's a matter of. I know last year, and I said this on every broadcast today, we had more handshakes after ends 5 and 6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah, and that's not the case today. We've had 3 games, and every one of them has gone down. No handshakes. So, or maybe we did in that first one. I don't remember. But that's possible. But that would have been at least an end 8. Or before 8. That could be.
The one thing I will say about curling is I definitely enjoy watching the girls curl more than the boys, because the boys, when they curl, it's just aggressive. Like, there's no fun in it. When the girls are curling, there's actual, plays and cool shots that can be made. Because I know, in our games today, it always came down to one shot. If one boy missed, one shot, the game was over.
Yeah.
But with the girls' games, it's much different. And that's what I really like about curling, is just that different aspects.
Well, we've got 1 count right now with the 2 in the button. And that's all that right now matters, but it's going to change because we're sitting with the skips right now, so we're getting down to the end.
Yeah.
Here's the first one now for the red, which is Marshfield. And that's Sydney Vensky, the skip. Again, as you can look at the score, Stevens Point leading after 2 ends, 3-1. And when we get a look at the scoreboard, we'll see how they came up with that total. This is Vensky. Sydney, a junior. 2 juniors, a freshman and a senior for Marshfield. 2 juniors, a freshman and a senior for Point. So experience is not going to be a factor in that regard.
Yeah. And that's another thing I had to say is experience in curling. Sometimes it doesn't matter, because we have a sophomore on our team who is equally as good as some of our juniors on the team, and if not better.
Yeah, and again, when did they start?
Yeah.
How committed are they?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah, I'm not sure this shot.
It seemed a bit too light.
Yeah. I don't think they accomplished what they were planning on doing, unless they needed a guard out there somewhere.
I mean, me personally, what I would have done is I would have probably shot a really fast stone down the ice to hit that stone in the white and try to get that red out, because I would want to get as many points as possible. But that would be a really risky shot, because you have the chance of it, freezing and it hitting your own stone.
Right. Yeah, that weight has a lot to do with whether it's a raise or a whatever. Okay, here we go with the last shot for the red. which tells me that Spash has the hammer on this one.
Yes.
One more for their skip. And they're doing what you talked about, but it looks, now it's going to come down to, because there isn't much of a port to get in there. I mean, there really isn't much. So.
But it's just what that their skip just pointed out. It's just getting a nose right on that one, Yellowstone in the middle.
Right.
And if they can just hit that, then they can be sitting pretty good.
Right.
But it just comes down to whether they're on line, their weight, and yeah.
Okay, here we go. Last rock. N3. Seemed like it went by quickly.
Yeah.
There is no time limit for high school. There are for big-time tournaments, Olympics, I remember looking at the clock, and they never were late that I can remember.
Yeah, I remember with our old skip that we had. He graduated early, but games used to take forever with him. They would be like forever, and that was probably a good move for Yellow there to cut myself off. Prevent themselves from accidentally missing a shot.
Yeah, right.
That was a hog. You hogged the stone, you threw it, and it didn't reach the hog line or go before it.
Now we had two in the button. Which one was the count?
So I'm pretty sure that was yellow.
Yellow?
Because otherwise they would not have thrown the stone short.
Right.
Unless they accidentally did that, which I don't know why they would do.
Okay. So what we're going to do is wait.
Yeah.
To see what they determine. Obviously, the two skips are taking a look at it, and they agreed on the outcome.
Well, actually, it's the thirds.
The thirds. The vice, yeah.
The vices,
and they're the ones that put it up on the scoreboard.
Yes.
So that's part of their job. Okay, we're waiting here to see.
I'm going to put my predictions on yellow. I think I got that.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yellow it is.
All righty.
So they're now up after the end of 3. Yellow is up. Stevens Point is up by a score of 4-1. Okay. So Marshfield got their point in N2.
All right.
Because Spash had the hammer on this one. Now Marshfield has the hammer back.
And I think the tactical aspect of curling is what we just saw from Marshfield. Giving up 1 point isn't that big of a loss. And sometimes it can lead to your victory because then you get the hammer. So sometimes losing 1 point in an end is actually the better move.
Okay, yeah, I've kind of heard that before, but not too often because, some curlers don't want to do it, but I think strategy-wise, yeah, definitely. If you look at the big picture.
Yeah, and I would say that's mostly for like that last end. You want to give up 1 point in that 7th, so going into the 8th, you have the hammer, and if it comes down to the last shot, you're throwing it.
Eden Wyszynski, the freshman. She's the lead for Marshfield. Now they're down 4-1 after 3 ends, so this is end 4 we're in now. So we're finishing up the first half of the 8, which is the number of ends in high school curling.
Yep.
And it's a tournament, so you have to have a winner.
Right.
And I don't remember having a blank, at least for a while. So somebody's going to score.
Right.
Okay, first rock for Marshfield. Now it's back to Spash. Second rock for Amara Grady, freshman. That's quite a sight here with the bleachers, the crowd, the 8 sheets.
It really is.
All in play at the same time.
Yeah.
Of course, they end up at different times because it's not a time sport.
Right.
But here they already have one in the 4 foot.
Yeah, and I would say it's just amazing, curling in this facility. I mean, if you're ever, like you like curling and you come here to curl, it's a good time because it's just a different atmosphere from normal curling barns.
Yeah.
And curling centers, I should say.
Right, I would agree. Yeah, it has a different feel because it is state of the art.
Yeah.
As a facility, and for everybody involved. And yet, you look at the volunteer log, they keep a log of volunteers helping here. Mm-hmm. It's phenomenal.
It really is.
How many and how much, it's just unreal. Okay, we got, there's your scoreboard. Maybe you can explain that real quickly if they hang on to it for you.
Yeah, so scoring works they kind of cut it off, but the number of end that you're on is the number that is basically put onto the scoreboard.
Okay.
So the number, like the points, I should say, are that middle line. Mm-hmm. So that's that 1 to 15. And what you do is once you score the points, the one closest to the button, mm-hmm. you put up however many stones that is, you put it under the sheet, or not sheets, the little flat thingy. You put it onto the hook, and then it signals that in the 4th end, you got to 5 points. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit of math that you have to do after the end, right. Okay, we got 3 stones, we got 3 points, and now we added on, now we're at like 8 or 7. And that's the cool part about curling, is that the scoreboard works differently than other sports. So it's not like a quick glance. You have to kind of get into curling.
You have to know what you're looking at or understand what you're looking at. And most people take a while. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go with the red rock. And this is Morgan Wyszynski, senior. She's trying to take out, and she's successful.
Pretty good shot.
Yeah, she's successful.
So I would have gone for more of instead of a nose directly on, more of that tucked behind those stones, so it wouldn't be easy to take out.
Right.
However, it does leave a good opportunity to just do a draw around and, tuck it nice and right behind, because it's not in that range where you should take it out, because it's not in that red or button area, or I should say the 4 foot. Mm-hmm. So, taking it out would be a good move, like they did right there.
There it is.
But a draw around could also benefit you later on.
Well, they're exchanging locations right now. Mm-hmm. With that, and now we're back to where they were 2 rocks ago.
Seems to have entered a takeout game.
Yeah, that's yeah. This is the first rock now for the 3rd for Marshfield, and that's Esme DeJarius. And that's a little bit different approach, but another takeout.
And if I could compare curling to chess for a little bit, a takeout game is just like moving the same piece back and forth over and over again. Like you and the opponent are just moving like your knight just to one spot and then moving it right back to the other. Mm-hmm. You're just doing the same move over and over and see who breaks first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why for me, takeout games, they're difficult because they require a lot of concentration and a lot of, you need to hit your target and all that. And I think it's really impressive when you see takeout games like this that just kind of go on for like shot and shot and shot and shot.
Yeah, I think your comment is good, Ty, about whoever breaks first.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what they're coming up with here. Certainly they have the weight.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I guess they have the weight.
Yeah, but it could be a bit wide or narrow.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that was very narrow.
Yeah, that didn't even come close. The faster the rock is, the more difficult it is to use your brooms and do something with it. So And they didn't have a chance on that one.
And when you're sliding out and you kind of give that a little push, it kind of negates all the sweeping that's going to be done to it because you've pushed it and it won't really allow, like that friction just won't work. The stone will be going too fast.
Okay, this is Esme, the third for Marshfield with the red rock. Her first.
And it looks like it's right through.
Yeah. So they're doing the takeout game over and over and over, or they're going with the weight they're using for takeout.
Yeah.
This is a weird.
I can agree that the ice is very odd today. I know in our games it was all over the place. The speeds were different all over. Because when we're curling, I know when we play, we have timers next to us, and we time how long the stone takes from the center of when we cross the center of the button to that big black line, the hog line.
Right.
And the times were all over today, and they weren't matching up with the shots that we threw. So you're going to expect to see some errors like that when you're, curling still at this level, because that ice, people aren't used to it like Olympic level players.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I like about curling is just that adapting to the ice.
That's a big factor.
Mm-hmm. And they got a nice takeout right there.
Now that was more. You couldn't ask for more.
No. It was beautiful. It was basically sitting on the edge of the blue there. Not it was just blue and the white.
A beautiful shot.
And it just slid right onto the button.
Not only that, it's got a little guard out there.
Exactly.
It's, no kidding. That was nice.
However, they come down with a lightning bolt of a shot.
Okay, this is Marshfield's second for the third, if you follow. Esme Jajarias. Pretty much open circle, concentric circle.
Yeah.
And she's just going to raise, huh? Yeah. Oh.
See, that shot, it's a good shot, but at the same time, you need to anticipate what your opponent's going to do next.
Yeah.
And that's why I genuinely think that this shot's a good shot. However, they're just going to set another stone that blocks you from raising that stone into the other one.
Right.
So while I think it was a good shot, you also need to anticipate that your opponent is going, what your opponent's next move will be. And I think that that's something that I, struggle with too when curling, is just that thinking ahead of what's the next move going to be, or what's the move after that.
Yeah. Well, right now they've got everything kind of lined up, so whoever takes the advantage here is going to have them in different locations where they can't get at them with one rock.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep on going here. This is the first shot now for the skip for Spash. Because Marshfield down 4-1 has the hammer. Well, they're working on this one from the very start.
Seems like it may have been a little too light.
Yeah. It's in play, but isn't what they wanted to do. Even as a guard, it's out there too far.
Yeah. It still acts like a buffer, but they can still work around that.
Yeah. Well, right now, Point has 1 point.
Yeah.
In the circle, close to the button, in the forefoot. And here we go with the first rock for Marshfield skip, Sydney Vansky. They're going to talk about it.
Yeah, so from what I've just seen, in these from her past shots, it seems like she can hit her stuff. She's a good curler. But it just comes down to how the other opponent plays. They have, I'm not going to say cornered, but just set the stones in a way that just make it very difficult to move around and, control.
No.
And I think that's the thing that they, are taught in Point, is just that strategy more.
Okay. Well, they've had a good program there, just as the Wausau schools in Everest have good programs for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. This is interesting.
Right in and I mean, that was an amazing shot.
That was not. I didn't anticipate that.
I didn't either. But I mean, that does set up like if you kind of do a control in, you could, knock some stones around. And a control is a, more light draw. And to get more technical, I should say. But
okay, well, this is the last stone for Spash.
It'll be definitely interesting to see what they do. See if they just try to go for like a guard, or maybe they try to sneak in another point.
Yeah, they of course Marshfield has the hammer here, so Marshfield has a chance to undo whatever they do, but they have an opportunity, I think, here with their options to add another one on.
Yeah, I know in curling there's times where you need to be greedy and just try to sneak some points in, but then there's some other times where you just need to play protective. And
they're up 4-1, so I mean they do have the lead.
They're sitting one right now. I mean they're in a position where they can, just guard it up and let her be. And it looks like that's probably what they were going for, or maybe they were trying to sneak it.
They wanted. I think they spread it out here a little bit, but I don't think. I think they're still at 1.
Mm-hmm.
But this angle, and I've watched this all day, I've made misjudgments on location because I don't know if the camera, if it's in a certain angle or if it's directly above, which it probably is. But you can't tell from that shot, camera shot.
Yeah.
Really that closely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, this is the last shot for N4, so.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for that takeout now.
Yep.
I would recommend a super fast weight because you want that stone to fly. Because the more curl that it has, the more opportunities for it to miss.
Yep. Okay. And they make sure. So the third becomes the skip here. And this is the last one for Sydney Vensky. She's a junior. This is a big one early for Marshfield.
Yeah.
Going down more than 4-1 and going, 4-2. That's where curling, you can change that score so fast.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that in the earlier games today. That was.
I sure did.
Yeah.
Down 7-0 and coming back and only losing by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, good concentration.
Yeah, they're going to need to sweep that all the way down.
Yep. Well, it's picking up speed, isn't it? Or is it just my reaction to what's going on here? Well, it's going to be 1 point for...
Point, I think.
Point.
I mean, unless we see something, they see something different from that angle.
Yeah, okay, one more for point.
Yeah.
So now it is, after 4, it's 5-1. And when I've watched all 3 ends, or 4 ends now, Marshfield and Point are not that far apart.
No, they're not.
With a score of 5-1, I mean, they're not, it's not like they're not competitive.
Mm-hmm.
At least that, the 2 that I've seen. Of course, they started out 3-0, so.
And I mean, that's the thing about curling. A team can be like 14-1, and they can still be relatively like the same in skill level. I mean, you saw it with the DCE girls and girls varsity and the East varsity today. our girls, or the DC Everest girls, won today.
Yeah, we covered that game.
Yeah. And in the regular season, the DC girls lost like 14-1.
You're
like
kidding.
2. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And that was just like a couple weeks ago too. So a lot can change in just that short amount of time, and not like skill-wise, but just that mentality.
Yeah, strategy, mentality, combination. Okay, here we go. We're doing N5 now. As we start the second half of the eight ends. It's a little more interesting as we move along.
Oh yeah, more like our games kind of go. I don't know if it's the same for these kind of games, but that are broadcasted, because I know there's a little bit of pressure that's put on them, I think. But we play faster as the game goes on, and our coach kind of gets mad at us for that. But we just joke it off.
Well, the coach is behind the glass, so they're limited in their influence.
And that's the best part about curling, is that
it is.
When you're out on the ice, you're just like with friends.
Yeah.
And you're just out there to play.
Yeah.
You're out there to compete, to do good.
Yeah. It's a game. It's a sport.
Yep.
No, I always appreciate it too when I go in the cafeteria and you see teams that just competed on the ice sitting next to each other and enjoying a little meal or banter or whatever the case might be, and it happens.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in N4 now.
Oh no, N5.
5. Yep, you're right. 5-1 after 4. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
5-1. It's not critical for Marshfield, but if they really want a good chance to win, they've got to do it on this one. And they have the hammer. They need to pick up 1, maybe 2.
Yeah, Point stole one there.
Yeah, they did. They had a steal.
So, I mean, as I kind of have a joke with my team, but it's that fifth end cheese that you get. It's just that there's something that always happens in the fifth end that contributes to the end of the game.
Yeah. I remember when you look back at it. Okay.
That fifth end just seems to be this crux of the game.
Okay. I'm going to follow your thinking here and see if we can follow up on that later on. Because that's an interesting comment.
It's this running joke that we have. It's just the fifth end, either something good or bad happens with us.
Okay.
Where it just decides the end of the game.
Huh.
I don't know if it's the same for every team, but...
Yeah, well, you're a unit, you're a team, so your whole process might be very different than another one.
Yeah.
Because it takes different personalities, temperaments, skills, experience. It's complicated.
And I will say, it's if you have a best friend, I honestly wouldn't recommend curling with them, because what ends up happening is you're just so compatible that you'll just end up joking the entire time and just messing around, and you won't be actually focused in the game.
Yeah.
So it's just that level of concentration and fun that you need to have.
Yeah, a good balance. Yeah, that's a good point. You got some good points, Ty. Some nice things to add.
Yeah.
To our coverage.
Seems like a nice play by Point right there to sneak another one right into the house. It's nicely guarded. And from what we've seen from Marshfield in this little bit of time that we've seen from them, they're not really trying to go for those takeouts. They're trying to avoid them as much as possible, so they might want to be going for those more point-heavy games.
Yeah, in other words, put more in the house and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you're down like this, I'm not even going to say this much, when you're down 4, you can still come back.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is the first shot for the second for Marshfield. That's Morgan Wyszynski. This is wide.
Yeah.
Too much weight.
Either wide or heavy, because it could be, both. Or it could have been just a heavy thing, because if it was that same thing but just a bit slower, then that stone could have curled a little bit more, and then you could have gotten it right past that guard, and it would have been a good play. But just the combination of the two, you need to find a way to get it to be just right.
Here's point. Second shot for Amara Gady.
And it's funny that I just said that, because that's the exact shot I think that the Marshfield was going for. And Point it seems like they have this game, like they know what the ice is. Yeah. They've adapted to the ice, and they've just gotten to a spot where they're comfortable, with throwing shots. Marshfield seems like they're still trying to figure out, speeds and different shots.
That was similar to the first game we covered this morning.
But I mean, there's definitely, a way for them to come back. I mean, being able to adapt to the ice is a crucial part of curling, but another part is just being better than the other team. You need to read them and be able to understand them and what they're doing. Yeah. So you follow along with the other team's doing, you can get some insight on your team.
Well, here we go again in this end now. Marshfield is sitting there, but it's a long way to go, because we have some more rocks to.
Oh yeah.
There we go. We're going into the thirds now. And the first one will be for Spash.
The cool part about the third is that it's such a diverse position to play. Because you get to put up the scoreboard, you get to stand in the house, call shots, you get to throw shots, you get to sweep, you're just doing everything.
Yeah.
And it's just such a cool position to play, because you're just busy in the game.
You're into it, you're busy, you're involved. Yeah, let's see what they decide to do here. Well, we're going to have a little conference. Are they going to do a timeout?
Ooh, maybe.
I don't know.
They have a timeout.
I would have to figure that one out. We're in a little bit of a break here. Right now, Marshfield trails Spash 5-1 after end 4. And with Ty Stahoviak, I'm George Hirsch, and we're bringing you the State High School Curling Championship from the Curling Club in Wausau. And this is game 4 that we're doing today. We have 4 coming up tomorrow, including the last game of the round robin, with a bracket of 4 teams in each. And then we will have the semis, and then we will have the championship. The defending champion for the girls' competition was Poynette last year in 2023. And if I can find the right sheet, we can go over the boys' championship. I think it was Stevens Point last year, if I remember right. Yeah, it was Stevens Point was the defending champion. Very, very rarely do we have repeat champions. On occasion, you'll get a class that will go through and win 2 or 3 in a row. But it doesn't happen that often. I know it did years ago for Wausau East. They had a girls' team that was outstanding. They won 3 in a row. But it's rare. And as we go along here, these teams have to qualify to be here from the state. And so it's all draw.
Yeah.
These setups, these brackets are not predetermined in a meeting or something, or seeding like basketball or what have you. It's just draw. So you can have the 4 best teams in the tournament in the same draw.
Yeah.
You don't want that, but it certainly can happen. I don't recall it being the situation.
And it looks like we're back now.
Yep.
And that's always the cool thing about I like about timeouts is because what do you really get? I mean, it's just kind of a break from the game, it feels like for me.
Yeah.
Just to kind of recuperate and just get your mind off the game and just, talk with like an adult.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think that timeouts, there's some value in it, obviously, because they want them. I mean,
right.
Players want them, the coach wants them.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes put your finger on it. That's another story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is basically a mistake. No, not really. Well, didn't do anything.
No. And that's the interesting part about curling is that, like, every shot, sometimes it doesn't, like, contribute to the overall end.
Mm-hmm.
However, it does in a way. Like, it's contradicting itself because, like, a stone could be moved like an inch, and it's just like, oh, a stone moves an inch, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But in the end, that could change the game.
Yeah, with all the angles that are involved in touching, it certainly can. This one looks like it's heavy enough. It's going to be, well, it might do what...
Yeah, really good shot. Now they're just limiting them to just one now, but I think there's a little gap where they can throw a...
There's the port in there for them?
It might be.
Well, we'll find out if they're going to try. That is their strategy here.
I mean, it could just be a more heavy draw into the house to just bump it out, or it could be just a draw in and try to get a spot higher than theirs.
Well, there's room for a draw.
Right.
Okay, this is Spash. And it's the third, so it's Ava Olds, their lone senior. Both these teams have one senior on their team, in their foursome rink. Well, they're busy.
Yeah. I mean, good sweeping.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like that stone was just a bit light, or too light.
No, it's, yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's too light, actually. I mean, that was way too light. Well, it could have been like a tactical thing where they're trying to maybe sit one, but, who knows?
Yeah.
We're not down there on the ice with them,
Right. It did cross the hog line, that's about it.
Yeah. But it kind of just brings up to that, blocking, them from getting into that center. Because there was that little gap there where they could draw in, push stuff around. And now they kind of have that blocked in.
A little bit.
So they do have that advantage now where they have that, the center button to themselves.
Well, and when you're on the hack and you're looking down the ice, you see that rock now.
Right.
It wasn't there before, but now I see it. So that might change a little bit of something.
Right.
That you do.
Right.
Not that you can explain it, not that you can, demonstrate it. It just can happen.
And they hopped on that stone pretty quickly, so it could seem like they want to sweep a lot more. But it does seem like it could have been that takeout. They're trying to go for a heavy. And yeah,
there it is.
There's the shot that I was looking for. It's just that, the fifth end cheese right there.
Well, it's still one count. It's still one count, Marshfield.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's
they
close.
have that two stones right there.
Right.
And
yeah, the potential is there for a smash. Okay. We're moving right along here in N5.
And I mean, the problem with this situation right now is that if Spash tries to get one of those stones out, it's not going to work because what's going to end up happening is it's going to jam on their own stone, and that their stone's going to go flying out, and Point is going to, or not Point, but Marshfield is going to be sitting two in the house.
Yeah. Let's see what they decide here. It's an interesting layout on the house right now.
Definitely.
All right. Spash. Second rock release for Ava Olds. Good concentration, good release. Some of them like to stand back and watch. Others like to follow up close behind the sweep and the sweepers and the stone. Right.
I can agree, but there's just sometimes where you're that third and you're just watching the stone go down and you're just like, oh.
Yeah. And you want to be by yourself.
You want to be by yourself, and you just don't want to follow that stone down because you're just like, why did I throw that?
Yeah, and you just want to, yeah, I can understand that one.
But I mean, that's another part about curling is that it's a team sport. It's not just that individual, like you're all working together.
Yeah.
So you need to just kind of take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, and move on.
Well, it's like almost every sport there is, Ty. You have to have a rhythm.
Right.
And you have to forget what you just did.
Right.
And concentrate on what you are doing. Because it doesn't work otherwise.
Yeah, I'm a cross-country runner. So,
okay, sure.
Yeah. I've been doing it for about 6-ish years now.
Okay, great.
6'5", and you need to have a lot of concentration and focus when you're doing those kind of sports. But curling, it's different because you need to be focused, but at the same time you can't be too focused because once you get too focused, then you will be missing certain details of the game, and you'll end up losing.
Yeah.
But I think cross country has definitely helped me with curling, and it's surprising because those two are different sports, by a long shot.
Well, I coached cross country at West years and years and years ago, and I loved it.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, the whole approach, the whole thing is different. You still have your team.
And you're working towards the same goal of trying to get that.
Right. But you're right. But I loved that sport, coaching that cross country. Because that was another sport that was more family.
Yeah.
Than curling.
Yeah.
I like curling, I should say. Yeah.
And I feel that as well, with my cross country team. We bond well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more of a bonding family kind of a thing. Well, we're looking at a situation now where there's some options, but they're not easy options that I can see.
It seems like they're trying to go for more of those risky shots. I know every single time we try to go for those risky shots, our coach just has a heart attack. Yeah. And then, we have to walk off the ice at the end of the game, and, we have to stare our coach in the eyes, and, she's just kind of looking at us like, you did it again. And it's just like, we know. There was nothing else.
Okay. Well, we're back to Spash with the last rock here from Allie Pischelman, the juniors skip. Marshfield has a hammer. So they'll have the last opportunity to make things happen.
And it looks like they're trying to go for another guard to block up that area where they can just get that stone in and jam it. So, but I mean, it's still there.
It's there. But
will they see it? Looks like they might be going for it.
Yeah, looking at, oh my gosh, look at that. We've got 5 rocks out on top. We've got a like number in the house.
I mean, this is the thing that I kind of said towards the start. This is why I love watching the girls play more than the boys. The boys, everything's gone in the house. With the girls, it's a lot more complex and a lot more strategies involved.
Well, it certainly is on this one. This is the last release by Sydney Vensky.
There's a little bit of a regrip there. Her glove caught on the handle of the stone. Okay. It just froze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be back soon.
Yeah. Well, we've got a crew that can see if they can figure it out. We are back on after some technical difficulties. Yeah. We live in a tech world, Ty.
And that's the crazy thing, is that stuff like this can happen.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're back on, and we didn't miss that much. One thing we did miss was that in that last end, the fifth end, which ended while we were off camera and air, 1 point for Stevens Point. So now, as we are in end 6, Stevens Point has a 6-1 lead over Marshfield. So it's getting close to crunch time. But we're in end number 6 now, so we'll pick things up for you as we move through, as we go back to action on the ice.
Alrighty.
And there we are. And there it shows up.
Yeah. And we're back.
Okay.
And it looks like they're just right at the end of the 6th. So we get to see the last shot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put some. We don't have money, but I think some Marshfield's gonna have a few stones in the house. Never mind. Looks like 1 point for Point.
Yep, and that's probably what happened. I don't know if they're recording now or if we're streaming live, or
I don't know. We should just do what we would normally do, and if we are not live, then
no, that doesn't matter. Yeah. It's just we're sitting at 7-1 now, which means we lost the 6th end in 10 minutes. I suppose.
Yeah, they're playing pretty fast.
Well, let me look. Let me go down and check out on the rink.
All right, I'll just do some. Alrighty. And it looks like they need to update the stone at the bottom.
Right.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. It's like you said, we live in a tech world.
There it is. Okay. Now this is updated. So that's our score.
All right. 7-1.
7-1. And we're in end 7. Okay. All right. So now we'll figure out. We just started with the lead.
It looks like they're entering the takeout game.
Yeah, we'll pick it up. Technical things happen, and you just deal with them and move on, and that's what we're trying to do here. Well, this is Spash. Marshfield has the hammer.
But I mean, you've seen Point steal how many now from Marshfield?
Yeah.
What we're probably going to end up seeing is just a takeout game, and like we said before, it's just until one of them breaks.
Okay.
Good take up from Marshfield. Or no, Point.
We're updated, I believe.
Alrighty.
Okay. Second shot for the first person in the lead. Eden Wyszynski, the freshman. With their second shot.
See, in Marshfield's position right now, they shouldn't be going for these takeouts. A takeout game is a very risky thing to do because it requires a lot of skill and practice. But that's not the reason why they shouldn't be entering it right now. They're down by like 6.
Yeah.
They need to score some points.
They need to just put it in the house. Put as much in there
exactly.
as they can.
They need to start sitting their stone like right on top of their the point stones so they can, start stacking stuff up. But it's just when you're curling there, you don't see that all the time. You just kind of go for, they have a stone right in the house. We need to get it out.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 or 2, even 2 or even 3 right now is not even going to do it. Make it competitive. Because they obviously have to, they're down 6 with 2 ends to go.
Yeah.
Well.
And, sorry.
No, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Again, we apologize for the technical problems that caused typically they call it a freeze.
Yeah.
In the equipment. Okay. Marshfield needs more than one stone in the circle.
Seems like there it is.
That's a heavy, so that's out.
It's just when you play those takeout games, it's always like one person will miss, and once that one person misses, then the other team will take advantage of that.
And that's what Marshfield needs to do right now.
And I think they will, because I will say, like you said before, they're evenly skilled. But it's just using the ice to their advantage.
This is the second shot for Morgan Wyszynski. Their second. Well, that looks a little.
Yeah, it's just a biter. That's enough.
Yeah, it's in there.
But I mean, if you go in with a nice weight, not too heavy, not too light, you can probably come in and get that at an angle. But me personally, I would want to sit on that stone.
Okay, now we're going back to Spash with their third. By skip Ava Olds with her first release. There you can see the fans in the stands, and the stands are full.
Oh yeah, it's packed.
Yeah. Very quiet now, but that'll change too when we get closer to the end. They're going to try to take them both out, and all they do is exchange, but they did one, so okay. But, Spash is in a position right now, Ty, that's okay. That's fine. We'll give them one.
Exactly, and that's the thing. When you're up by that much, giving them one isn't going to hurt you.
No.
Because you give them one, now you have hammer, and,
Yeah. Okay. Second release, toss, Ava Olds. This particular end, they seem to be, well, this is another one that looks a little bit heavy.
Yeah. Or it might just sneak.
Yeah,
I think the strategy they're going.
Yeah.
The strategy they're going for is probably to split the house, to have two stones that are on equal sides of the house, and to make one of the opponents go for them. But I think they threw it a bit too heavy there for it to be a nice house split.
A split you want more even, right?
Well, right, yeah. And so that's the more, it's more, yeah.
Okay. Back to the next stone. This is David's second. Yeah, they want this to be heavy for some reason.
Oh, and it just clipped their own stone. But I mean, that does open stuff up. But all Marshfield has to do now is just start blocking it up.
You mean Spash?
No, Marshfield.
Oh,
Marshfield's sitting 2 right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I see. All right, yeah. Right. If they can get 3,
yeah,
they,
starting their way.
They got a shot.
It looks like there's, sitting 3 right now.
Okay.
So, and they have hammer.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's in their hands right now, the hands of the skips.
And those 2 stones are tucked away, and it's just that one stone, that pesky stone that they have. So it's going to come down to a takeout probably at the end of this end.
Okay. At least Marshfield is making it a game here in this end.
Yeah.
They're not giving up.
That's for sure.
This is Allie Fischelman, junior skip. A lot of sweeping.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to go as far as the house. That's part of the deal. They don't need it necessarily, but now they've got, that took care of that one.
Yeah, and I think they're just going to go for that takeout right there. And that's going to leave maybe a double takeout open, or at worst comes to worst for point is that they're going to have to deal with giving up 3 here.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what Marshfield does. Sydney Vensky. First stone.
Yeah, it seems like they're going for that more sweeping hit for straight, so that stone, instead of curling as much, it's going straight down the ice.
Oh, is it heavy? Wow.
And it is wide.
Well, there you go. So Marshfield now should be able to pick up
2. And at worst 1.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're just going to pick out that 1 stone. So
yeah,
this will definitely be one of those closer ends.
Okay, down to the last rock. You can see the 1 rock left off to the left of the circle. That belongs to Fischelman, the skip. And this is Sydney Vensky. No, I'm sorry, this is Allie Fischelman. Got the 2 turned around.
Yeah, and it looks like they just got it, and that slipped out.
So the most Marshfield can get
is 2.
Is 2. Now, does that still give them a chance? Yes.
That would put them up to 3, so it'd be 3-7.
Right.
But the problem is that now Point is going to have Hammer in the 8.
Right.
So what we're going to be looking at here is the team that's up is going to have Hammer, and that's really rough to steal. Like, what would they need? Like 4 in one end?
Yeah. Well, they may end up shaking hands. We'll see.
Yeah.
First, she's got to get that other one in there. Otherwise, 5 points. No. Okay. 8 rocks. You need 5 in there. 4 I've seen.
Yeah. You know, on today, we got 5 scored on us.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even mention it.
I
would not make that public knowledge.
You know, I don't know why I said it. But now that I said that, my dad once got scored all 8 on him.
You're kidding.
Yep. All 8.
Oh, my
And then they took a picture. And he was embarrassed to tell me.
No kidding. I think he would be a little embarrassed. You'd think he'd want to keep that in the family for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, Dad. I just had to say that, But
is that the handshake?
I don't know.
I didn't see handshakes, but
they may have just. I think they may have.
Different.
I think they're throwing the stones.
It's 7-2.
And it looks like they're playing the last end.
Okay. Okay. Well, here we go. They got 1. Marshfield got 1. So that extra third, Hammer didn't score.
Yeah.
We missed that somehow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we missed, but we did. We missed it. Because we're now in end 8.
The final end.
This is final. I don't think we're going to end up in a tie. Well, actually a tie would be more acceptable than a Marshfield win at this stage, and they're down 5. But they're going to keep playing here until they're mathematically out.
Right. And that's the thing about curling, is that it's a sport about etiquette. So once you're mathematically defeated, sometimes that keep on playing is just a sign of disrespect, almost, because you're like saying, no, I didn't lose.
Yeah.
So it's just, accepting that, hey, you lost. It's just sometimes a respectful thing to do.
Well, we'll just keep going here.
And it seems that Point is going for that aspect, that tactical hog that they threw right there.
Right.
They're just trying to limit as many stones in the house for Marshfield.
Yep. And this is Marshfield's first attempt for Eden Wyszynski, their freshman. 7-2 splash. Well, the Splash boys are the defending champions.
Yeah.
Here in the state curling championship.
I mean, rightfully so. Joey Dobbs is just an amazing sweeper and curler, and just in general. So, and I shouldn't say just Joey Dobbs. I mean, it's the entire team. But, in this game right now, it's just they're going to have to take that stone out. Our point is.
Yeah, Wausau West with the Wendling rink in 2012. Wes Wendling, Chris Kirsch, I think he's still maybe playing in high school. Jacob Hammond and Carson Kirsch.
Yes, Carson Kirsch is still playing.
Yeah, I knew one of them was, and that they were the winner 2 years ago.
Yes, it's a really good team.
Yeah, I remember doing their games. Poinet won the prior to that. Marshfield boys actually won back in 2019 and 2018. So Marshfield competitive on the boys' side. The girls, I don't think, won a state tournament yet. They're still looking for their initial victory.
Yeah, same with the boys for DC.
Yeah. Well, this is stone number 3 out of 16. Heavy, but, well, okay, there's one out.
Yeah, but, I mean, that stone isn't protected by anything.
Right. Well, I'm just, right now I'm counting Marshfield stones in the circle.
Right.
And that's all that counts.
That's true.
Nothing else that counts right now. Because if they throw and it's beyond the end line, it's gone. And so they've got to get it in the house. They can't let it go long. They can't let it, and that's what they just did. So I mean that.
Now they just have to guard it up, but they have to put it still in the house. You know, those house guards.
It's not in the house. This could be over in a couple of rocks.
And it really could be.
Yeah. If they, the other factor, if they put one in the circle and they've got one in there already, that takes one of them away. So they're really down to, but that one they could still get out of there yet. So it's not, it's a count, but it's not final.
Right.
But this is the 4th rock. If they don't get this one in, it's over.
Yeah.
By my calculation. And I think that should do it.
Unless, no, because there's that one stone right there.
All they've got there.
And then they still have 4 left, I think.
Right.
So.
Right.
It's the next stone, I think. Because right now they would,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, they've got one in there, and they need to get at least 5. And this is their 5th stone. So from here on in,
they all need to be in.
They all need to be in the house.
And if even one stone gets knocked out,
or they go wide or long.
Well, they do have that other stone there, so that does count as a rock. But now that could be a double right there.
Yeah.
I just can't see that initial guard because the screen doesn't show it.
So right now, the best Marshfield can do is tie.
Yes.
But if Spash gets a takeout, it's over.
Right. Especially if they get that double takeout right there.
Yeah. Yep. Well, they're already celebrating. Spash.
Yeah.
So in that bracket now, and we don't have the results out that I see posted here to tell you, what the records are. But when we come back in the morning for our 8 o'clock game, a boys game, they'll have that posted. With one to go for every team in the round robin thing.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, we'll go
1 point missed.
one more. Okay. Could be it. This is Esme Jajaria's.
And that stone looks a bit heavy.
Yeah, it's going to be heavy. He'll be able to sweep it out. And unless my math is wrong.
1, 2. They're probably just going until stone's all. I mean, I don't know. No, because there's 5 stones in total still, so technically speaking, they could somehow get 5 stones in the house.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
So mathematically, they're not eliminated, but it's just going to come down to the shot.
Well, you talk about hanging on by a thread.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like this game was a stop either, because the other team Marshfield was competing really well throughout the entire game.
Yeah. Okay, now. I'm confused.
I am too, yeah.
Is this?
Because normally they would be mathematically eliminated.
See, what I'm thinking, we were blacked out we were frozen for a while.
Right.
And to me, when it happened, it did not seem like we lost a whole end. But on the scoreboard, it showed it. Mm-hmm. And I have to believe the scoreboard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, are we missing something?
That's my question. What are we missing? All I know is Spash is in total control.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe they just don't realize.
Well, maybe they just want to play. I mean, they could have agreed as 2 teams.
Yeah.
Just let's finish this game.
Mm-hmm. And that's totally fair.
Oh yeah, that's happened. That I could understand. Because the Spash girls were congratulating each other before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know for sometimes in Everest, our coach just tells us, play the entire game.
Yeah,
don't shake. You can just
play.
Even if you're mathematically eliminated, you can still play until the timer runs out.
Yeah, and that I think is a good thing, but I don't know, in a tournament, I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not really another game after this, but there is the ice committee and working the times around that.
Yeah.
You don't want to go home at like midnight. But
well, I mean, Marshfield doesn't even have a point in the house. They don't even have a count. So, in my mind, that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play it out. We both agree. Both teams agree. This is a good experience for us.
Right.
Okay. And if that's the case, good for them. But this is the first time I've seen this in a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're just tossing them down now. They're not even setting up location or strategy or, they're just practicing kind of. See what they can do with that.
It's just that kind of takeout game.
Yeah, she's just, okay. I really am confused about what's happening, but what you said, Ty, makes sense. That they decided we're just going to play this one out.
Because I remember when we were down, 8-1. We just kind of I looked at my teammates and said, "Hey, do we just want to shake and just keep on playing, just get a little bit of practice. There's like still 30 minutes left until like the next, until we have to be off the ice.
Well, and this is the last game of the day.
Exactly.
So icing is not an issue.
So it could just be playing it to have fun.
Sure. Well, they've played before each other, I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out now, because this is it.
Yeah, it looks like Marshfield scored one right there.
Yeah.
But in the end, yeah.
There we go.
That's the game.
The game is over. And the final score, Spash, Stevens Point Area Senior High 7, Marshfield Girls 3. I thank Ty Stahoviak for joining me.
Yeah.
Nice job with filling things in. And
no problem.
I'm George Hirsch. Hope you enjoyed our broadcast of the high school curling state championships. We've got 4 coming up tomorrow, including the semifinals and finals. So it'll be another busy day here with a good crowd and lots of folks involved in the second day of the state championship. Until next time, take care.